getting our people in here. Anybody in the waiting room? I think we've got everybody here. We can start. We're going to be joined shortly by people from the community, the Jewish community in Jamaica. So I wanted to give us a little bit of an experience and look at Avinu Malkeinu. Now, it's not the regular melody that they did for Avinu Malkeinu, the services. They had a youth group, and they had somebody who was a drummer, and he had them take Avinu Malkeinu and do a dramatic drum reading with it. It's a combination of drumming with dramatic reading. So that will get us in the mood for today.
Or King Avinu Malkeinu, or Father, or King.
I think there's a Jamaican Jewish community in Miami. There was a Zion Catholic Church, but that was something else.
Hear our prayer. We have sinned before thee. Have compassion upon us and upon our children. Avinu Malkeinu, or Father, or King. Help us bring an end to pestilence, war, and famine. Hear our prayer. Cause all hate and oppression to vanish from the earth. We have sinned before thee. Inscribe us for blessings in the book of life. Let the new year be a good year for us. Let the new year be a good year for us. Let the new year be a good year for us. Our Father, our King, Malkeinu, our Father, Avinu, our Father, our King. Hear our prayer. Keep saying it.
That's a very different rendition. I think it could be on any modern dance performance for sure. And it's got the motion and the mood of Avinu Malkeinu in a very different format. And I put that on because of the Caribbean connection today, and also sort of getting us in the mood for the high holidays. It's part of, Avinu Malkeinu actually appears as part of the, some point in the daily prayer book this season also. And one other thing, a little bit more contemporary rendition with also the drumming, for Lishmoya Larina Bela Tfilah, to hear the song and the prayer. how they put in a mix of different musical styles into this. Tonight is the first night of Slichot in the Ashkenazic tradition, and they're actually online. There'll be quite a few Slichot services online. I think you have to Google search them to find them. Usually they'll be starting around 10 o'clock with some kind of discussions and going on till midnight. So that's replacing us getting together in the synagogues, as was our want. Well, let us go ahead now. We'll see what's happening with Facebook. It is still not getting there. I'll let it run a little bit longer and then we'll just call it. I don't know what to tell you. We need to fix that. We'll live with it for now. So, let us go now to our prayer book. Open our Shabbat service this morning. Brought to you by Hollywood Temple Bethel, your professor. And move the screen over so we can see Hollywood Temple Bethel. There we go.
I don't know if they can
And
or what.
let's join in with Shochein Ad together. Shochein Ad Maron Kadosh Tzadikim Baronai La Yesharim Nava Tehila Befi Yesharim Tehalal Ov Divrei Tzadikim Tebarach Uveshar Chasidim Tetomam Uvekeref Kedoshim Tehila Ove Makalot Ribevot Amcha Beit Yisrael Shekain Chavak Yitzarim Lifanecha Noileinu Ve'Eloi Avotenu Dodam Shabeach Lifaer Ve'Romem Ladeh Lebrech Ladeh Lekale Sahar Kod Divrei Shirot Tishbechot David Ben Yishab Decha Meshicha Yishtabach Malkeinu. And we continue the bottom of the page. And we have a minion here with us. We have more people coming in. And we'll welcome all the newcomers coming in. And make sure we're...
Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Good morning, Judy. Let's join in with the Baruch Hu together. We open our service. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Baruch Adonai Chalam Yotzera V'Chashech Asa Shaloreh HaKol. And let's go ahead with El Adon. And Los Pasharos Sefaradis. Turkish Slavic.
Yishaboru Eloheinu Oram V'Dainu Hashem
El Ve'Havo Notenim Lishmo Zahora Ve'Rina Lezecher Malchuto Karal Hashem Va'yizra'o
I'm going to take a quick peek and see if my Facebook has done anything. It hasn't. We'll let it run.
According to Merriam-Webster,
Right.
the first one we learn is peak.
My
It has
phone
to do with
just decided to speak. All right, let's go ahead. Maybe the word Facebook made it talk. I don't know. Wonders of technology. Let us go ahead with our service. Welcome everybody aboard. We got Stephen New here with us. I see Murray is here. Now the faces, we're happy to have you this Shabbat. And we're going to go ahead with our service to the vision of the angels giving their praise of God. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. And the answer of the other angels, this is the Holy One from his habitation. וכולם מקבלים עליהם עול מלכות שמיים זה מזה ונותנים רשות זה לזה להקדיש ליוצרם בנחת ברוך סוף אבינו הקדושה כולם כאחרון ביראה קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות בארץ כבודו ופנים וחיות הקודש רעש ולא מתנסים לעומת רבים מתם משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבר אדוני מימי קומו ברוך לימות ייתנו מחר וקיימים כמרות ובדרגה we continue the final blessing for the morning lights or hadash atzion ta'ir ונזכח לנו מהרב ירו ברוך Adonai Yehotzeh HaMeorot. And let's join in Ahava Rabbah together. Great love, have you loved us? It is shown in the teachings of wisdom that we have received through the Torah and through the teachings of the sages in all generations. Amar Rabba Aftanu Adonai Eloheinu Chem Lagedol Avitera Hamazaleinu Avinu Malkeinu Ba'avur Avoteinu Shebachnu Becha Avinu Malkeinu V'telamdem Pukei Chayim Kein Techanenu Tzaneinu Avinu Harachamon Rachem Rachem Aleinu V'tein B'libeinu Lehavin Lehaskil Lishma Lilmod Lelamed Lishmor V'lasot Olekayem Ekol Divrei Talmud Torah Techat Yahava V'ha'erinenu V'toratecha V'dahabek Libeinu V'mitzvotecha V'yached Levaveinu Li'ahava U'lira Et Shemecha V'lo Nemosh הגדול והנורא ואנחנו נגילה ונשמחה נגילה ונשמחה בסעודך והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ ותוליכנו כממיעות לארצנו יפרשות עטנו בחתו לקלון ולשון כן רצנו לשמך גדול סלע סלע באמת להודות לך וליחדך באהבה ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעם ישראל באהבה. Okay, I'm going to let me that we are. Let me see what's happening on Facebook. 1 second. Carmen, I may just make you co-host and see if you can get it to work from your end. Carmen, you ready to try it?
Okay.
Hold on. Okay, so you're co-host. Now here, that will allow you to, that should allow you to go, and on the side, on the top bar, on the side where it says more, go live on Facebook and click on that, and then it'll say preparing and where do you want to post it. You see the Hollywood Temple Bethel page.
Rabbi,
and then it'll take some other time.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You're going too fast here. I'm trying to find SV options.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. Right,
yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So try to do the live share on Facebook, and it'll open up the Facebook page. It'll ask you what page or what, and you say post to a page, Hollywood Temple Bethel, and then it'll start to set it up, and then it'll ask you give a name and a date, or just go live, and just click go live.
Right.
Okay, whatever happens, happens. God bless you if you get it. God bless you if you don't get it. Either way, God bless. That's it. And so let's join in the Shema together. Take our hands, take our tzitzit in hand, and we join in. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Bet. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'el asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinamtaham levanecha v'dibartam v'shivtecha b'beitecha v'lechtecha b'derech v'shachbecha u'tkumecha u'kshavtam liot al yadecha v'yutotafot bein einecha u'ktabtam amazon beitecha ובשעריך. רואים שמות את זה?
רואים שמות, לא יודעת את זה. אני רוצה שמיים,
And we will continue with the last paragraph of the Shema as we take the tzitzit. Vayomer Adonai Moshe Daber el bnei Yisrael v'amata lehem v'asu lehem tzitzit al kanfei bigdehem lidorotam v'natna tzitzit al kanaf betil techelet v'elachem litzitzit uritem otos hatem ekol mitzvot Adonai ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבכם ואחריכם אשר אתם זונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי כי אתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוניכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אדוני אלוהיכם אמן. And we continue now the song of deliverance of the children of Israel at the shores of the Red Sea as they pass through from slavery unto freedom. The bottom of the page. Moshe ubnei Yisrael חודש רב שמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם
אמרו כולם,
מי כמוך אלוהים אדוני מי כמוך נדור הקודש נוראתי לו עושה פלא שירה חדש שבחו גאול בשמך אספת הים שירה חדש שבחו גאול בשמך אספת הים יחד כולם הודו יחד כולם הודו במלך ויאמר אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד זו ישראל קומה ויעזב ישראל ובלכנו מך יהודה וישראל גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו קדוש ישראל ברוך אתה ישראל. And we'll chant the opening of the Nida together. The opening and the Kedusha. Adonai sifatai tiftachu pi yagid tehilatecha baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elahei Avotenu Elahei Abraham Elahei Yitzchak Elahei Yaakov Elahei Sarah Elahei Rivka Elahei Rachel Elahei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol V'Zolchei Chazdei Avot Meger B'neihem L'man Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Mashiach Magen Baruch Adonai Magen Avraham Chokei Tzara Atagi Boy Le'olam Adonai Mechai Metim Atarav Moshiach Moshe Baruch Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayeh Metim Berachat Rabim Somech Nochem Verofech Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Ahar Mikamocha B'Hagurot Umino Melach Melech Menim Umechayem Umatzmiach Yeshua Nemon Ata L'Chayot Meitim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh HaMeitim. We continue to the Kedusha, in the middle of this page. We all join in.
Rabbi, are we on Facebook today?
We're having trouble getting it to come on. Carmen is trying to work it. Are you trying to watch on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm also just on the phone.
On the phone,
but usually it's right up at the top, but I don't see it. Yeah, it's okay. No worries.
Okay. Yeah, Carmen's working on it. We'll see if anything happens. They're being picky today.
Thank you, Carmen.
Okay, we'll join in. Nekare Shimcha
Balam,
Kishem Shemati Shemata Bishmei Marom, Kartu V'Hayad V'Yachar Zeviyama, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzivot, Aretz Kivodo, Az Bikorash Gadol, Ardiv V'Chazak Mashpim Kol, Mikmasim Lo Me'atzerachim, Baruch Yomeinu, Baruch Adonai Mimeko, Mincha Makenu Tavia V'Timloch Aleinu Ki Machakim Anachnu Lach, Matai Timloch B'Tzion, Kavinu B'Tishkom, Titkadav V'Titkadash B'Toch Yerushalayim Ircha Ador Netzachim V'Eineinu Tirena Machotecha Kadov Omo B'Shirei Uzecha Ayedei David Mashiach Tzidkecha Yimloch Adonai Melech Tzion Adovador Hallelujah. And we'll continue chat information. Zoom screen cannot get to Facebook. Okay, that's it. All right. That's how it goes. We're going to continue. Work our way through. לדובדו נגיד גלך ונצח נצחים כרשך נקדיש שבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש ומשתבק כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We're going to continue silently. ישמח
Thsi
Yeah, kula mi
Shim Shalom Tov.
Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to see if we can get this to go up onto Facebook. I'm going to try this in Italian. No, this is going to mess it up. No. All right, that's all right. Sorry, give me 1 second. Bear with me. I'm going to try this. And then whatever happens, happens. And okay. 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 We take 24. Activate your account, and they will. Oh, okay. Well, we'll do it anyway. Let's see what happens. Whatever happens, happens. The wonders of technology. It all works until it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah, that's the way it is.
Okay. All right. So it's upcoming. No, it's test my stream. Okay. Okay. Action. Okay. Create a stream. Okay. Don't worry about a title. I just put it. That's all. I'm just going to put it. Create a stream. That's it. Whatever happens, happens. No, it's not even kidding. Scout. All right. We're going to go ahead with our service. All right. If any of you have a chance to look at YouTube, see if you can see it showing up on the Hollywood Temple Bethel screen. And we're going to go ahead with our services no matter what. I'm going to go back to Sim Shalom, to Yismachu, and then Sim Shalom. Well, that's Yismachu. No, I didn't want Yismachu. We're going to go to Sim Shalom. And we'll join in Craig Taubman and Sim Shalom. Okay. There we go.
Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Olam, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Alecha, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Ba'olam, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Alecha, Barcheinu Avinu, Barcheinu Kulanu, Kulanu Kecha, Be'or Panecha, Sim Shalom, Tova Uvracha, Ba'olam, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Alecha, ki be'or panecha, natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu Torah chayim, ve'ahavat chesed, ustaka, uvracha, rachamim v'chayim v'shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, ba'olam, chen v'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Alecha v'tov be'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת v'chol sha'ah, b'shlomecha.
Going to give one last try with this, and it says I need to live stream.
Go to the top. Yeah, you're up. The top one, Rabbi.
Go live. Okay.
Right.
Welcome. Now go live. Pray this is working. Okay.
It just says say something.
Okay, and pray that whatever is happening is happening. Stream setup.
It's all set.
I'm not seeing it.
Go live, go live. Stream, well, okay. Now wants to say something. I'm saying, what else is I gotta say? Say something. Okay. Welcome to welcome. Okay, that's it. Don't want to do it. Let's see. You don't do anything? All right. We're going to go ahead. Whatever happens, happens. It is time to move forward. And we come to into the theme of this month of Elul, the prayer Achat Sha'alti, it's part of the 27th Psalm that is read. And so I have it here for you, the Hebrew transliteration of one of the lines. One thing I've asked, to sit in the house of the Lord forever. I'm going to let Shlomo Karbach take it from here.
Me'ez Hashem Ayson Ahava Hakesh Achal Shoaleti Me'ez Hashem
And now our unit of study for this morning, Pirkei Avot. We continue with Rabban Gamaliel, Unit 2. We talked about the importance of work. And now he moves on to the question of what kind of work. Continues. We call Ha'amelimi Matzibur, all those who are involved for working for the public, the community. You, Amelimi Mahem L'Shem Shemayim. We hope and we pray that they are really working for this for the sake of heaven. Right? They're leaders, public figures. We would hope that whatever the position, they're coming into it for a noble purpose, for a noble cause. And if so, Zchut Avotam Misayatam, talk about Jewish leaders, your ancestors' merits are strengthening you and backing you in the Tzidkatam Omedet La'ad. Their righteousness is behind you. You may make mistakes, but if your intention is there, the merit of your ancestors will be behind you. Do not be afraid of taking leadership. Basically, that's what it's talking. B'ma'aleh ani alechem. I will give you credit. Tzha harbe kilu asitem. Leaders flop. Leaders fail. But if they are working on this, they're trying, their intentions are good, we'll get the reward. That's his intention, right? Trying to encourage people to take up the burden of leadership. Another part, they talk about one who takes upon himself the role of leader of the public. It is as if it's Yom Kippur every day. He's so suffering so much that he's being forgiven his sins every day. That's the comparable. So with that, we'll go ahead. The Kaddish. Kaddish the Rabbanan. Please recite with me. Yitkadal. Yitkadash. Shemei Rabbah. Yama. Divrach Yudutei. V'yamlich Malchutei. B'chayechon u'vyamechon u'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala b'zman kariv b'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba B'varach Le'olam Olamei Maya Yevarach V'yishtabach V'yitmo'al V'yitramam V'yitmaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shemei V'kudsha Berichu Le'elah Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiyom B'yoma B'imru Amen. Al Yisrael, V'al Rabbanan, V'al Tamidei Hon, HaKoman Tamidei Hon, Koman Deoskim B'Oraita, Di V'Atra Hadem, V'Di B'Chol Atar V'Atar, Yeh L'Hon L'Rochon, Shlomo Rabba, China V'Chisa V'Rachmin, Chayin Arichem, Zorin Erviche, Kokorim Mikorim Ahuvuhan, Di B'Shmaya B'Imru Amen, Yehei Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, V'Chaim Aleinu V'Al B'Imru Amen, Oseh Shalom B'Imromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, V'Al B'Imru Amen.
Amen.
And a reminder that this Shabbat is brought to you by Hollywood Temple Bethel. And I don't know if the live stream is doing any better. Connecting live stream software. What can I tell you? No data streaming. Well, we'll just let it go. Carmen, if you can get in, take a look at it, so you can do something. I don't know what to tell you. We're going to get that fixed by the time High Holidays comes around. Let us go into the Torah service now. Open the Ark. And we join in with Ein Kamocha B'Elohim Adonai Ein K'Masecha Malchutcha Malchut Kol Olamim Umemshasecha B'Chol V'Ador Adonai Melech Adonai Malach Adonai Moed Adonai Oz Lamo Yitain Adonai Yevarech Eramo V'Shalom Avarachamim Eitiv V'Yitzon Zion, Ibnei Yerushalayim, Ibnei Chomot Yerushalayim, Ki v'chalev abadav melech Eron ben Yisa, Adon Olamim, He ben Saron, Vayomer Moshe, Toma Adonai, E'achutzu Oivecha, Ve'yanusu Misanecha, Mipanecha, Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah, Levarai, Mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah, Lemo Yisrael, B'Kedushato. We continue with the prayer in front of the ark. Bey Anarachetz Velish Mekadisha Kadisha Yakira Anamatush Becham Bey Anarachetz Velish Mekadisha Kadisha Yakira Anamatush Becham Yehiravakadam Letiftach Libi Beoraita Betashli Mishalin Delibi Beliba Becholamat Yisrael Letavotayin Belishlam Amen. And I'll chant and you'll repeat Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema
Yisrael Adonai
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonai Shemo
Gadolul Adonai Itineram Shemo Yafto Lecha Adonai Gadolul Atiferet V'anei Yitzhak me'ahol, Ki chohov hashamayim u'baretz, Ki chohov hashamayim u'baretz, Zaharanai ha'mamlacha v'mitnaseh l'chol romemo, romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu l'adam raglav kadoshu, romemo Adonai Eloheinu, Ve'ishtachavu l'ha'kadol, Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Okay, we are now in our Torah portion. I'm not going to take a long time because I want to give us time to get to our friends in Jamaica for their presentation. It's going to be very lovely. And we are in a double portion today, a portion of Nitzavim and Vayelech. They're combined in order to balance out the year so that we hit Shemini Atzer Simchat Torah with Breshit. And so the first part, Nitzavim, we're going to just read from the opening, introduces a great concept, the concept of a national covenant. In all societies, covenants, contracts, treaties between the peoples and another king, or between two people and the God, was done between the God or the king and the elders of that particular people. Everybody else, the hoi polloi, what the Greeks called the hediot, common people, from which we get the word idiot, and they stay behind, they get dragged along. This one says, okay, we start Rosh Hashem, Shiftechem, Ziknechem, all the big shots, the machers. Heads, wait a minute, now, Tapchem is the little kids. No, who pays attention to the little kids? No, they're in this. The women are in this. The strangers come to live in your midst is in this. Now, what's the difference between one who chops the wood and one who draws the water? Chotev etzecha are the men. It's always a man's job, chopping the wood. Shoevim mecha, always in the Bible, the women. Men and women, even of the lowest level, all in this compact together. We don't get anything like this till the Mayflower Compact, where everybody's in it together. That's a great mark in human history, just that line above. And then it goes on and says, even those who are today and those who are not here today, standing with us this day and not with us today, right? Future generations also are involved in this. So that is the teaching of Nitzavim Vayelech. And has a very interesting line. The revealed is to us and to our children. And if you'll notice on the page, there are dots over, see, 11 dots. There's a great discussion. Nobody's sure what it means. What has been revealed? Classic rabbinic commentaries, what's revealed is the sins that we know about. We've been told, we know what we know. God knows what we don't even know, what we have done wrong. All right? God is aware of everything, whether we're aware of it or not. That's one. The other approach is Nishtarot Ladonai. The mysteries of God belong to God, but we have given revelation forever. That which has been revealed to us is ours. And then the dots refer to, thought about, what may have been the secrets of God, what did we get, and what is secret? And debates between Jews and sects within and among the Jews about who has the real secrets, or do we have any secrets? So that's a mystery for us to figure out. So those are all in the opening. And then famous line, which we cannot skip without getting into the holiday season. I testify to you, life and death, heaven and earth. I give you the option of a blessing or a curse. You shall choose life so that you will live. Right? This is so appropriate for our high holiday season. We choose, we make the choice. We can choose life. We can choose a life that gives us life instead of a life of destruction and devastation. So let's go back here. Joe, Ben
yes,
Lulu,
I'm here.
okay. And Joe, our elder, Joe Alexander,
Yes.
read the opening blessing for the Torah reading. You have it in front of you?
Yes.
Go ahead. Baruch.
Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch Hu Esanu HaMavorach,
Baruch Hanam Baruch
Baruch Hanam Baruch Olam Poet, Baruch Adonai Melech Olam, Asher B'chabonu Mikol Amim, V'natan Lanu Es Torusoi, Baruch Atah Adonai, Nosein HaTorah.
Amen. And Joe Ben Lula, go ahead. Take it from
Amen. אתם ניצבים היום כולכם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם, ראשיכם שבטיכם, זקניכם ושורותיכם, כל איש ישראל, טפכם נשיכם, וגרך אשר בקרב מחניך, מחוטב עציך, עד שואב ממך, לעוברך בברית אדוני אלוהיך, ובעלתו אשר אדוני אלוהיך, קוראת עמך היום. למען הקימותיך היום, לא לעם, והוא יהיה לך לאלוהים, כאשר דיבר לך, וכאשר נשבע לאבותיך, לאברהם, ליצחק וליעקב, ולא ייתכם לבדכם, אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת, ואת העלה הזאת, כי את אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו, ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום, כי אתם ידעתם את אשר ישבנו בארץ מצרים, ואת אשר עברנו בקרב הגויים אשר עברתם, ותראו את שיקוציהם ואת גילוליהם, אצבע אבן, כסף וזהב אשר עמהם, פן יש בכם איש או אישה, או משפחה, או שבט, אשר לבבו פונה היום מעם אדוני אלוהינו, ללכת לעבוד את אלוהי הגויים ההם, פן יש בכם שורש פורה ראש ולענה, והיה בשמעו את דברי העלה הזאת, והתברך בלבבו לאמור שלום יהיה לי, כי בשרירות ליבי אלך למען שפות הרבה את הצמא, לא יובא אדוני סלוח לו, כי אז ישן אף אדוני וקנאתו באיש ההוא, ורב צבבו כל העלה הכתובה בספר הזה, ומחה אדוני את שמו מתחת השמיים, והבדילו אדוני לרעה מכל שבטי ישראל, ככל עלות הברית הכתובה בספר התורה הזה. ואמר הדור האחרון ביניכם אשר יקומו מאחריהם, והנוכרי אשר יבוא מארץ רחוקה, וראו את מכות הארץ ההיא ואת תחלואיה אשר חילה אדוני בה, גופרית ומלח, שרפה כל ארצה, לא תזרע ולא תצמיח, ולא יעלה בה כל השב כמהפכת סדום ועמורה, אדמה וצבועים, אשר הפך אדוני באפו ובחמתו, ואמרו כל הגויים, על מה עשה אדוני, כך על הארץ הזאת, מכורי האף הגדול הזה, ואמרו, על אשר עזבו את ברית אדוני אלוהי אבותם, אשר כרת עמם בהוציאו אותם מארץ מצרים, וילכו ויעבדו אלוהים אחרים, וישתחוו להם אלוהים אשר לא ידעום ולא חלק להם, ויחרף אדוני בארץ ההיא להביא עליה את כל הקללה הכתובה בספר הזה, ויתשם אדוני מעל אדמתם, באף ובחמה ובקצף גדול, וישליכם אל ארץ אחרת כיום הזה, הנסתרות לאדוני אלוהינו, והנגלות לנו ולבנינו עד עולם, לעשות את כל דברי התורה הזאת.
All right. Okay, and now it's a little bit longer than I usually have you do.
Yeah, it was long.
Keep you in training and conditioning. All right, and now we come to our prayers and thoughts for those who are ill. There we go. And let me share this screen here. I'm going to shrink this down. And we pray for all those we love and care for here in this congregation, dear to us, that they be well. May the Holy One send them healing both in body and in mind. To Esther Elisheva, Pinchas Belatirskovsky, Miriam Leodorf, Vyacheslav Ben Galina, Moisey Kelchik, Mindy Levins Pfeiffer, Jennifer Levins, Ronnie Duran, Harriet Levins, Moisey Ben Manya, Barbara Mormon, Esther Gearson, Joe Alexander, Barbara Drata, Roger Rosen, Rachel Aflalo, Jenny Drata, Michael Schinder, Susan Tuckerman, Shirley Marco, Fira Feinberg, Judy Alkali, Richard Zeller, Carmen Fraser, and Laban Masha Ben Sarah, Louis Jason, the son of Harvey Jason, and Liba Batsara, Hannah Batsara, Eliel Ben Chava, Shoshana Bat Chava, Herb Mormon, Irina Sepian, Alex Trebek, Hannah Sarah Leah Bat Rachel, Shimon Meir Ben Rachel, Hannah Sarah Bat Kayla Alta, Alan Whalen, Hayar Nesti. And will you please go ahead and give me names of people that you want us to have in our prayers?
Esther Rachel Batsiva.
Esther Rachel Batsiva.
David Mordcha Ben Yehuda Noah.
David Mordcha Ben Yehuda Noah.
Sima Harlev.
Sima Harlev.
Ronan Ter Harlev.
Ron Terlev.
Susan Feinberg.
Susan Feinberg.
And Sharon Lipman.
Sharon Lipman.
Amen.
Go ahead. Yeah, younger, go ahead.
Teres Badina.
Teres Badina. Any
Wendy
other
Keller?
names? Yes, go ahead, Jeff.
Wendy Keller?
Wendy Keller. Okay.
Rabbi, would it be appropriate to say a prayer for friends, family who are in Oregon and Washington during the
my. And we add, thank you, we
the
add
fires.
prayers. Those who are endangered in the fires,
Yes.
those who have been injured and hurt, whether by fire or by the smoke, and our prayers with all of them, to them and to all and also to the animals. Let's go out also. May they all be safe from harm. That's our prayer. Thank you for thinking of that. And let us now join in. I have a lovely version.
David Ben Hanalea.
David Ben Hanalea. So I have this version from Andrea that she did for us, recorded for us. And so I'm going to put it on for us, the Mishaberach. And you have the words in front of you.
Avotenu mikor habracha limotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishebeira Imotenu Mikor Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Let us say Amen for everyone. And
Amen.
That was lovely.
And we go ahead now to the Haftarah. Again, it's in the series, the last of the series of Haftarah of consolation, prediction of the redemption of the children of Israel. I'm just going to chant the first lines very simply for us and move on. So, Thsi Shabbat, Tagia Nafshi Be'Elohai, Ki Bishani, Bigdei Yeshami, Il Tzedakah Yatani Kechatan, Yikahen Pe'er Kalat Ta'adeh Keleha, Ki Aretz Totzi Tzimcha, Kenegana, Zru'ah, Titzmiach, Eken Adonai Elohim, Yatzmiach Tzedakah, Ilah Neged Kol HaGoyim. And we're going to go down to the last lines of the Haftarah, lines of redemption. We call it Tzaratam Lo Tzar, Umalach Panav Hoshiam Ba'abato Bechemlato Hu Ga'alam B'inatlem. In the same call, Yemei Olam. In all their troubles he was healed, and the angel of his presence delivered them. In his love and pity he himself redeemed them and raised them and exalted them all the days of old. We come to our prayer for the United States. Let's go into this. Okay, and whatever's happening here is happening. I don't know what's happening. Go ahead. So, for the United States, we are just out a day after 9/11. And perhaps maybe consolation that on 9/11 there was an announcement of peace between Israel and Bahrain. And I think that we are maybe getting past the wars of the Islamic world and the United States. We know that.
From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
America, sweet
Bless America, my home, sweet home.
Okay, very important, very appropriate prayer sung by Kate Smith during the middle of World War II when America was at its darkest moment, a reminder that as bleak as things may be, we've come through bleaker things. Gam ze yavor, the difficulties we have now also will pass. And we continue with the prayer for the people of Israel. If we talk about impossibilities, right? Bahrain is now joined in. That is right after United Arab Emirates and right after Kosovo and Serbia. And they're up in line, and others are going to be coming. I think the Arab world is coming to recognition that they are tired of the Palestinians being the world's spoiled brats. I hate to say it. And that until they get the message that nobody's coming to their help, they're not going to sit down and do anything. So that's
It's about time.
So we join in the prayer for the people of Israel and the state of Israel. Avinu Sheba Shamayim. So Yisrael Galo Barech et Medinat Yisrael. Reshit Smicha Gulatenu. Hagen Hagen Aleha V'ra B'ra Chasdecha. Ufros Aleha Leha Sukat Sukat Shilomecha. Shlachacha V'amita. Dosher Sarech Otzeha. Taktim Beitzat Tova. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Avinu Sheba Shamayim. So Yisrael B'Galo. Bless our people with everlasting peace, and our land with everlasting joy. And let us say, Amen. Amen. And we're going to wrap up our service now. We're going to have it all ready so that our friends in Jamaica will join us. We're going to go straight to returning the Torah to the Ark. And Hallelujah, let's all join in. Hallelujah, Shem Adonai, Kines Gav Shemo Levado, Hodo Haaretz V'Shamayim, Vayarem Keren Tehila Alecho Chasihidav, Livnei Yisrael Amkerovo. Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Together, Mizmor David. Kol Adonai, Kol Adonai, Vaishaber Adonai Ataz Avonom. Yakirin Kumegavam Siriyan Kemo Ben Remim. Kol Adonai Chosef Lavotesh. Kol Adonai Mebar. Yachil Adonai Mebakadesh. Kol Adonai Chole Layalot. Toferot Lechulokula Omer Kavod. Adonai Lamavuya Shamaye Shem Adonai Melech Leolam. Adonai Oz Amo Yitain. Adonai Yivarech et Amo V'Shalom. And we'll join in with Eitz Chaim He together. Eitz Chaim He L'machazik Ba V'Tov Teha Me'ushar Deracheha Lacheina V'Cha Netivotteha Shalom Ashiveinu Adonai Elecha V'Nashova Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu. Okay, Carmen, I have your notes. See if you can do it, Alari. handle the service. Okay, and if not, we'll notify everybody afterwards.
Yeah, I'm going to try.
Give it a try. Okay. We're going to wrap up. And so I want to give us a flavor of the Caribbean, because in a few minutes we're going to be joined by the members of the community, the Jewish community of Jamaica. And so I was looking for flavors of the Caribbean this is from the Jewish community of Curacao, to the south of Jamaica. They make the claim to have the oldest synagogue still in existence in the Americas. And one time, a member of my congregation met the former president of the community of Curacao. He married her, and I lost a member of the congregation. That's the problem with going on cruises. But I did get a medal from him in exchange, medal marking the 250th anniversary of the building of the existing. So you win some, you lose some. Here we go. Ein Kelahena with a little flavor of the Curacao community.
Malkeinu en kamoshienu, Eloheinu mi Adonenu, Malkeinu mi kamoshienu, Noden. Adonenu, Moshiach.
Curacao, off of the northwest corner of South America, facing the Caribbean. And we join in Aleinu together. Aleinu the Shabbat Hakol, take it to Lali Katsayim, Breshit, Shelos Anikiye Haratzot, Velos Amanuk, Mishpachot Adama, Shelos Amchakenu Kahem, Vigor Aleinu Kechol Habonam, Vanachnu Korim, Mishtachavim, Modim, Lifnei Melech, Mache Hamlachim, HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Sheonat HaShamayim, Yased Aretz, Shemikarov, Hashemayim Mimal, Oshkenatu Zo, Begavhei Merhamim, Eloheinu, Eino, Ememakenu, Echesulato, Kakatu, Mitzorata, Yadata Yom, Vashevota, Eleva, Ki Adonai, Elohim, Bashamayim Mimal, Vialaretz, Vialaretz, Mitachateno, Zeinod. Nema v'hayadonai lemelech ha'aretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. And I have the list here, but I think it may be off. Those who passed away, Harry Keel, and I think we had some other names originally. I don't see them here. I don't think we have any yahrzeit names this week.
The only two that are on no yahrzeit this week, but Andrea's dad.
Ah, that's right. And I had it written down. That was Jacob Pritzker. Yeah, we added him last week. And so may their memories be for a blessing of the souls bound up in the bond of eternal life. Those reciting the Kaddish, please join with me. Yit Kadal,
Yiskadal,
Shemnei
Yiskadal,
Rabba,
Rabba.
Bi'alma Dibra
Amad
Chilutei,
Rabba,
Bi'amit Malchutei,
Malchutei.
V'chayachon Gam Yom,
Mechon
V'chayil L'chol Beit
Beit
Yisrael,
Yisrael.
V'agalam Ezman
Rav
Kariv
Karim
Imramein,
Imramein.
Yehi Shmei Rabo
Yehesh
Borach V'Olam V'Maya, Yiborach V'Yishtabach, V'Pamar V'Tamam Yitnaseh, V'Yitadar V'Yitadeh V'Yitlav Shemei Dekucha Berichu, Le'elam Min Kol Bir Chata V'Shirata, Tush B'Chata V'Nechemata, Dam Yom B'Yomah V'Imru Amein, Yehi Shlomo Rabba Min Shemayim Chaim Tovim Aleinu V'Al Romain, Oseh Shalom Bimrama, Huyas Hashem Aleinu, V'Al Kosev Romain. May the one who makes peace. Amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens above create peace among us all and among all people and among the people of Israel. And let's all say, Amen.
Amen.
And again, the reminder, Shabbat brought to you by Hollywood Temple Bethel. Support your local synagogue here or wherever you may be. And
I cannot even get into Facebook on the temple,
okay,
onto the
so
temple sites. I can't get in. Something's
yeah,
going
it's
on there.
playing games on us. When we finish Shabbat, what I'll do is I will upload the recording because I'm recording this now.
But if you
Probably
can just
Facebook.
It is Facebook. If you can
Yeah.
just post a little note telling those who would like to listen to the discussion, the address for Zoom, please, because you were able to get in at least.
Okay. Well,
The Boy Scouts of America are live, so there's maybe a lot of people on Facebook.
What is happening on Facebook?
The Boy Scouts of America are having a national live meeting.
They're going bankrupt. The Boy Scouts of America are going bankrupt, so they're having a fundraiser or something.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Okay. Well, let's try. The live streaming on YouTube right now is not going anywhere. We'll just let that go. And I will give me 1 second. And bear with me. Get the code and the access, and hope that the whole world doesn't jump on us as we do it. Okay. Go up here, get my calendar. Give me a second. Okay, and we'll give time for our friends in Jamaica to join in also. And today's the 12th. And let me get this to open for me. Okay, and this one, and that's it. Copy. There we go. And let's hope this is working. All right. Bear with me. Patience is a virtue. We're in an undiscovered new territory completely. What's happening here? There we go. Now we're just going to create post and okay. Okay, and post. All right, and all right, and so posting and okay, it is posted. God willing, whoever joins us. The right people join us, not the wrong people. And now, back to the flavor of the Caribbean, and I hope that they're coming online all right. Also, I didn't see any message from them yet. On the contrary. Okay, no news is good news on here, so they should be coming on any minute. And so again, another flavor of the Caribbean for Asadon Olam by Tropic Kasher. Tropic Kasher.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל, אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא, לעת נשא בחפצו כל אזי מלך, בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו, ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה, והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני להמשילו, ואין שני להמשילו להכבירה, ולראשית ולתכלית ולא העוז, ולתכלית ולא העוז בעם ישראל, והוא אלי וחי גואלי וצור חבלי, וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בצרה, והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי, ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, ובידו אף כדרוכי והתישן, אף כדרוכי והתישן והיה, ועם רוחי גבייתי השם לי, גבייתי השם לי אלוהיה, בידו אף כדרוכי והתישן, אף כדרוכי והתישן והעירה, ועם רוחי גבייתי השם לי, גבייתי השם לי ולא יירא.
Okay, so in the Spanish, Torah with the flavor of the Caribbean, of the tropical. Okay, and I see Ainsley is on board. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try to enlarge my view of the screen. I can see you.
I attended a bat mitzvah in Cuba, in Havana, Cuba, when I was there.
Oh.
And yeah, that was very interesting. Services in Spanish, and of course, the luncheon was rice and beans and fish. You know.
That was the standard fare.
Yeah, that was standard fare, but they don't serve big quantities of food. There's virtually no leftovers. They don't have. They don't serve massive quantities of food in Cuba. Yeah. And yeah, I've been to the Holocaust Memorial in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And I've been to Nassau in the Bahamas also.
Okay, good. Well, I'd like to welcome, we've got members now coming in from the Jewish community. Ainsley, can yes. I play Bendigamos before you start? Terry, I found something with Bendigamos. shall I go ahead with it?
Well, it's really the blessing after the meal. So I don't know if you want to have the meal first. I don't have a problem.
We didn't eat anything.
We're not eating. We're not eating.
We don't have anything to eat.
No, you can eat at your desk. You can eat at your computer if you want.
I know.
But we're not eating.
Or do you want to go into your talk?
No, that's fine. You go right ahead. Start whatever you want to start.
Okay, we're going to warm us up with Bendigamos. It's the blessing after meals. Terry said, no, I found this one. Terry said it looks good, sounds good. So I'm going to put it up. It's the Birkat Hamazon. That's a warm up for us.
Bendigamos al Altísimo, al Señor que nos crió. Démosle agradecimiento por los bienes que nos dio. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos apiadó. Loda al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre su merced. Bendigamos al Altísimo por su ley primeramente, que liga nuestra raza con el cielo continuamente. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos apiadó. Loda al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre su merced. Bendigamos al Altísimo por el pan segundamente y también por los manjares que comimos juntamente. Pues comimos y bebimos alegremente, su merced nunca nos faltó. Loda al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre su merced. Bendita sea la casa esta, el hogar de su presencia, donde guardamos su fiesta con alegría y permanencia. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos apiadó. Loará al Señor que es bueno, que para siempre su merced. Oh, tu la donai quito, Kileolo hasto. Oh, tu la donai quito, Kileolo hasto.
Okay. All right. We're putting us up all on the screen right now, at the end of the stop screen. And let
Can
me
you see
find
me?
Ainsley. Ainsley.
No, we cannot. We don't have your video yet.
Okay.
You sure you haven't unmuted? Muted
No, we can
me?
hear you. We can't see you.
Yes, but
Okay.
my camera was on.
Okay, I'm making you
You got
co-
something over your camera. It's gray. It's not black, it's gray. That means you've got something over it.
No. No. It was working before we connected to you.
Oy.
let's see what we have. Start video. It says start video. On the bottom of the screen, on the bottom of your screen, you should see on the left side two images. One says mute, one says stop or start video.
Yep.
We click start video, and it doesn't click in.
Let me see.
It was working before I zoomed in on you. Let me try something. No?
Okay.
I can see you clearly.
Good.
Oh, good.
No. Anyway, let's see what happens. Why don't we start?
Turn off. You want to leave and come back on?
Let me try that.
Try that. Okay, we will get ready soon. We've got a few other people here also from the Jamaican community. I see an M. Henriques. I see some other names, new names that I haven't met before. And we'll get this going in 1 second. This is the Tech Day. Maybe it's all the Boy Scouts' fault. There we go. Elizabeth Gabai, come in. Gabai's come in. Okay, welcome. Connecting to audio. And Ainsley, here we go.
Seeing me now?
I see you.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It's like because you played Bend the Garments first, that's why.
Okay, so you
Shabbat
first eat,
Shalom.
and then pray. Okay, that's it. You have to be sure you got what you wanted first. Okay, Ainsley. I'm introducing Ainsley, a delightful person to talk to. He is the historian and archivist of the Jewish community of Jamaica, also a genealogy expert as well for the community. And I'm going to pass it all over to you, and you can share, if you want to share your notes in advance of the video, or you want me to put it up, either way, however you want to do it.
I think it would be better if you saw some pictures of what we have prepared and what Terry has particularly been very useful to help me do. I'm a little too old to be technical. That's a part of my problem. So if you saw that, then it would give you some idea of who we are, what we look like, what our synagogue looks like, or what does our echal look like, and then we can start the conversation from there. Because we are really an old Jewish congregation in the Caribbean, and we have fascinating history. And we're happy to share it with you.
All right, so Ainsley, what I'm going to do is we'll go back to share screen. I'll put on the video that Terry sent us, and we'll start with that. That'll act as our introduction.
That's me.
Henriques, in Hebrew known as Abraham Ben Emmanuel. I am from an old Jewish family in Jamaica.
I don't know if your volume is good.
Originated from Portugal. As we see in these posters here, telling our history. We were initially conversos who were able to leave Portugal in the early 1600s and visit with Amsterdam and Holland. Eventually, we came to Jamaica after the English captured Jamaica. So that's part of our story.
Rabbi, we're not getting much volume.
But try to get each one to raise your own volume as best you can.
That's one of the very few countries in the world where Jews were able to practice Judaism in harmony with the rest of the country. Settled in Jamaica, we spread all over the island, and we were a major player in helping the economy of the island to grow.
Oh, okay.
So we have cemeteries all over. Some
Let me make sure. Hold on 1 second.
Unfortunately, some have had to be.
Let me do one thing. 1 second. Oh, computer sound. Let me go back. There, computer sound back.
Speed it up and because the volume improves later.
Subject to hurricanes
Okay.
and fires, and the last major fire in 1882 destroyed 3 synagogues. We built the one that you're going to see after that, and that was destroyed by an earthquake in 1907 and subsequently rebuilt, and it is still a beautiful, beautiful building. Migration has also diminished our significant amount of assimilation. So you will find a lot of Jewish names in Jamaica, but the people are no longer practicing Judaism, but recognize their ancestry. And to be absolutely sure and to tell the story, we've had very little, if any, anti-Semitism in all 9 years of life.
That was a beautiful synagogue.
Yeah.
Or father, or king. Or father, or king.
Hear our prayer.
We have sinned before thee.
Have compassion upon us and upon our children. Avinu Malkeinu.
Or father, or king.
Help us bring an end to pestilence, war, and famine. Hear our prayer. Cause all hate
And oppression.
to vanish from the earth.
We have sinned before thee.
Inscribe us for blessings in the book of life.
Let the new year
Be a good year for us. Let the new year be a good year for us. Let the new year be a good year for us. Our Father,
Or king.
Malkeinu, our Father, Avinu, our
Or father, or king.
Hear our prayer.
Or father,
Keep saying it.
or king. Or father.
Bendigamos a el Altísimo, al Señor que nos creó. Démosle agradecimiento por los bienes que nos dio. Alabado sea su santo nombre, que de nos siempre sea apiado. Hodulado nakito, kile olam hasto. Bendigamos a el Altísimo por el pan primeramente y después por los manjares que comimos juntamente. Pues comimos y bebimos alegramente su merced, nunca los falta lo adora que es bueno y para siempre su merced. Dios bendiga la casa esta, que no falta en ella fiesta, tarde ni mañana ni siesta nos, y todos hijos de Israel.
All right.
Me? Are you unmuting me? Okay.
You're all set. You're all set.
Well, we could start at the end and say that they haven't changed Simchat Torah's music to that reggae beat, but we may yet do that. So that's another story. What you saw, which was very muted, unfortunately, were some of the posters in our Jewish Heritage site. Our Jewish Heritage Center was created for our 350th anniversary, and it's a museum which hundreds and tens of thousands of young Jamaicans visit, so that they get a full understanding that we are not terrible people. We do not wear horns, and that we are in fact part of what is the Judeo-Christian religion, which Jamaica is very proud of. And so in that sense, we are very fortunate because this country has hardly experienced anti-Semitism. We don't know anything like you face in the United States and certainly not in Europe. And at the same time, during the war, we were able to save hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of European Jews from the Holocaust, from the Shoah. So we have a lot of very interesting history, and we're here to share 375 years of our history with you and tell you who we are. So it's a pleasure to be with you this Bethel Thsi Shabbat. So please feel free to ask any questions and I'll elaborate as we go along.
So I'm going to ask actually curious about two questions. So reggae music. It's become very popular among Jews. A big example was Matisyahu.
Yes, I know him.
Right?
I know him too.
All right. So do you use it in your services? Is it an influence in your services? I heard the drumming. It was very nice. That's not a reggae. That's a different type.
No, that was a program which we put on allowed it to take place in the sanctuary.
Yes, yes.
All right, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to turn off the microphones. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute all. And that way. Okay. But Ainsley, I'm going to unmute you. Ainsley, hit the unmute button on yourself. The volume button, that way.
I'm unmuted now.
There we go. You're good. You're good. Yeah, this way we don't have background noise.
Okay. If you want everybody now, they can put in the hearing aid carefully so that they don't have to listen to me.
Yeah. And the other thing, you don't have a carpet on your synagogue floor and you don't have wood panels or tiles. What was that we saw on your floor?
It's a wooden floor with sand. And it's one of the 5 synagogues in the Caribbean that has sand on the floor. And part of the story is that we wanted to be reminded that we should multiply like sand on the seashore when we left the Iberian Peninsula. Another story is that it muffled the sound of when we were praying as Moranos in the basements of our homes. And of course, the most important real legend that we have is it's excellent for the children when you bring them to synagogue. They play in the sand while the parents.
That's a good method.
That would have really worked for me when I was a kid.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? If you have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself, and then mute back when we get it. Go ahead.
And you said there are 5 synagogues in the Caribbean with sand. I know I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to Nassau in the Bahamas.
No, the Bahamas is not an old congregation. The oldest congregation in the Caribbean was originally in Barbados, and then of course the oldest continuous congregation in the Caribbean is in Curacao. Curacao is a beautiful. It's the oldest synagogue in the Western Hemisphere, literally.
Well, yeah, if only the Caribbean would allow. Right now, I don't think Americans can travel to the Caribbean because we're infected here. You know, I don't think. I was in Nassau last January, just before the pandemic began, and I didn't see a synagogue, but I did see a synagogue in San Juan, Puerto Rico, but that's American territory. And I attended a bat mitzvah in Cuba one time. I did.
Cuba has a more recent congregation of Jews.
Has a beautiful, nice congregation. Cuba really has a nice congregation.
Five congregations in Havana at one stage. They came in after the end of the Inquisition by the Catholic Church. Before that, no Jews were allowed in the Spanish New World.
I'll have to, as soon as I can, I'll have to visit Jamaica. I'll have to visit it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're waiting for you.
If only this pandemic would quit, so maybe we can travel again.
All you do is remember my name, and please God, I'll be there to meet you.
Okay. Ainsley is your first name? It's your first name, or it's not your last name, right?
No, last name is Portuguese. It's Henriques.
Okay, Ainsley Henriques. I'll keep track. I'll keep it in mind.
That's why it's with an S at the end, not a Z.
Correct.
That's it.
You've got it dead right.
Okay.
There are 1 or 2 with the Z. We're not sure whether they really came from Spain, but they probably did come via Portugal.
Very good. Very good.
We do have one interesting aspect of our name. The first king of Portugal was a Henriques, and it really means son of Henry. And we're not sure if we're all sons of Henry, but certainly we carry the name.
Okay, listen, you'll be surprised how many royalty in Europe have some Jewish family.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, you're going to, okay, I know, let's just say Jamaica will have to invite us sometime for Passover, because I know in the Bahamas at the Atlantis Hotel, they have massive congregations just spending Passover in the Bahamas and in Nassau in the Bahamas, and really at the Atlantis Hotel, so many Jews go there to spend Passover. So Jamaica should be added to the list.
We did actually have and celebrate Passover in Montego Bay last year.
Montego Bay,
and that
okay.
was only about 700 people that turned up for that part. We didn't have it this year for obvious reasons.
Yeah, for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So we look forward to having that again. But remember that we were a fairly large congregation when I was younger, and I won't tell you how old I am. And that is a story where even at our family Seder, we could have somewhere in the region of about 50 people. So that's no longer, or more actually, more. That's no longer, unfortunately. It's the way that we have all ended up living and dying and migrating and leaving Judaism, as has happened in so many congregations around the world.
I wonder, may I jump in, Ainsley? This is Marie from
Marie, I know you.
Jamaica.
Welcome.
Rosa was asking about the sand floor synagogue, and I just wondered if you were interested in knowing where they are. There are 5 in the world, as Ainsley had said. The first was in the Esnoga in Amsterdam, and then there's us in Jamaica, Curacao that Ainsley mentioned, Suriname in South America, and St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. And those are the 5 sand floor synagogues. And I have another legend maybe to add to this. I discovered more recently in doing some research that when the synagogue was built in Amsterdam, they used to put sand on the floors of public buildings because the floors were dirt, the roads were dirt. So it was easy to keep the synagogues clean. And that was the first one in Amsterdam, where they first started having the sand floor. But of course, we have the other legends as well as Ainsley has mentioned. And we would welcome you to come for Passover when we next have a congregational Passover in Kingston. We do have a big Passover in one of the hotels in New Kingston. We had our largest Seder last year. Not this year, of course, because of the pandemic, it had to be canceled. So whichever end of the island you want to go to, there's big congregational Passover Seders that you are welcome to join.
Very nice. You need a visiting rabbi some weekend?
Well, that's a possibility, but since I'm no longer president and no longer a member of the Mohammed, so I can't speak officially on that behalf, but it's something that has been considered from time to time when when we have been without a rabbi, and that has happened. So yes, that's all, and we would certainly welcome people to visit with us in this regard. Yes, but I can't say that this will happen. You see, my role is unfortunately or fortunately so complex that it's very good to give up some of the things. You see, one of the things that I still am is an honorary consul for Israel, so I represent Israel in Jamaica, and that also takes up some of my time. And I'm happy that others are doing other things with the congregation.
Yeah, you have a fascinating career in business, also import-export, representing Israel, quite a few titles to your name. It's very nice.
Yes, but if you really want to waste your time listening to that, then that's another story. And of course, what my friend just told me from Chicago this morning, he was watching my program in August on the history of the Jewish Jamaica. And he says, I'm going to put on your obituary on your tombstone. Then that's another story.
Very good.
What is interesting about this whole business of the Caribbean and the Portuguese Jews, the Sephardim that fled from Israel, from Portugal, we were in fact conversos. We probably spent 3 generations practicing openly as Catholics, practicing Judaism in secret as Moranos, but we were basically conversos. And when we were able to get out of Spain and Portugal in particular, at the end of the 1500s, when Amsterdam opened up from the Reformation and we were allowed to practice Judaism, we then became Jews again openly. And when Jamaica was captured by the English and Curacao by the Dutch, we were then able to settle in these countries and continue with our Jewish practice. And of course, the economic opportunities of the Caribbean is well known, so we don't have to stress that, but we did participate. And what is very interesting is that we survived 175 years of being not considered full citizens in Jamaica. That's really quite an amazing story when you look back at my ancestors, our ancestors, who survived Judaism, survived as practicing Jews, but at the same time were paying higher taxes than the ordinary non-Jewish residents, and at the same time also not being fully recognized as true citizens of Jamaica or British subjects. So it's a whole fascinating struggle of living through the past 375 years. The first 175 years was certainly nothing that we were allowed to to participate in.
I know, Ainsley, you mentioned a lot that you talk about when Jamaica was captured. I just want to put that in context, that you're talking about year 1655. That's when Penn and Venables came to Jamaica. So that's a period of time that I know we've got to put things in context, and that's that I just wanted to make that point.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, and it's very important because, interestingly, it's another story because Jamaica was captured by the British or the English under Cromwell, not under the monarchs, under Cromwell. And then Cromwell was, of course, deposed and beheaded, and we stayed under the English Commonwealth, or what becomes a Commonwealth system, until we became independent in 1962. So we are now celebrating our, whatever it is, 58th anniversary of independence. And as a result of the last 200 years, literally, or 180 years, we have a very interesting experience where we have participated in being elected to Parliament, administrators of all shapes and sizes, and even our first ambassador to the United States was a former president of the congregation, Sir Neville Ashenhigh. So yes, and I too myself have one or two appointments which I think would frighten anybody to think that I was a person in charge of the heritage of a black Christian country, but I was.
It's fascinating. In the Caribbean, yeah, there's been a history of very good relations with Jews. Dominican Republic also absorbed Jews from the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
And Costa Rica has maintained very good relations. The Jewish community is doing very well there. Guatemala has very good relations with the Jewish community. Mm-hmm. So it's very different from other countries in South America, the more Catholic countries. So that's a very interesting distinction.
I can add to that when you're ready. Okay.
What did you say?
No, I'll tell you why. Through the 70s, the B'nai B'rith program was very active in the Central Caribbean, including Colombia, Venezuela, Costa Rica, and all the countries you named, and Mexico. And I happen to have been the vice president. So I know much of the stories and the contributions of some of the most outstanding Jewish men that survived the show. The role they played in maintaining the interest in Judaism and the interest in Israel in these Catholic countries. They were outstanding people. It's something that I was privileged and really should write about because none of them exist any longer. I am the relic, being the boy at the time, or the young man. I don't think I was a boy.
It's good that you're able to document this. It really is important. Yeah.
So it's part of a whole fascinating story. And we did have our role, as I indicated, in regard of saving people from the show. In fact, this morning I discovered in my papers, which I knew I had, but I didn't know where it was, the manuscript from a woman who lived in the Gibraltar camp in Jamaica. She was a Polish woman. She brought her family to Lisbon, and then Churchill was able to ship about 250 of them to Jamaica and house them in a camp which was provided for the Gibraltars when they were going to move the Gibraltar citizens from what was became the HMS Gibraltar, the Rock of Gibraltar. That's an old interesting story, and this woman actually was my sort of, she and her then late husband provided for me facilities in England when I was a student in England, and I inherited her manuscript, which was published. It's called My Escape from the Inferno of Europe. And I hate to tell you, it's a telling story, amazing story. So yes, and we did have people who lived in Trinidad who ended up living in Curacao because Trinidad was primarily a Catholic country, and they ended up by moving after the war to Curacao. And there are lots and lots of stories. The head of B'nai B'rith for the district of 10 countries was a German who managed to get out of Germany on Christoph flight. And his stories throughout South America are also fascinating about the conversos, or the secret Jews, if you wish, who practiced Jewish practices but were Catholic to the core. There are all sorts of wonderful stories. It's not just a straight story that comes out of Europe. It's a story of all sorts of different intimations that have taken place that we don't even realize, that how we managed to survive and how we managed, in fact, to have people return to Judaism after 500 years.
Let me ask you this. I want to go back to music a little bit. The Rast or religion, Jamaica is famous for the Rastafarian religion, and there's in their music and so on, in the words, there are a lot of themes that would blend very well with Jewish themes. Do you have any influence from them or interaction with them in the official Jewish community?
No, we don't have any actual official, but we know members of the Rastafarian movement. There's an argument that Bob Marley was from a Jewish family. I don't necessarily agree with that as a genealogical perspective, but it doesn't distract from the fact that he was extraordinarily religious and innovative in terms of how he used what he understood in the Bible. And so we give him a lot of credit for that. And we certainly think that his music and the music of the Rastafarian movement, the reggae music, evolves from the Jamaican indigenous cultural tunes. And we are, let me put it another way. We all come from different cultures, maybe even different ethnicities, but we all enjoy the same music.
Al, I'm going to hog the questions, I guess, for now. Just tell me about pirates, Jewish pirates. Somebody wrote a book, The Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean. You have a take on that story?
No, I don't have a take on it. I know the story. A lot of it was written in my house. Ed Critchlow was my very, very close friend. And I'll tell you, he only got breakfast when my wife said to him, Eddie, did you finish another chapter? He was an interesting man. He was a journalist. He came to Jamaica to work for the Jamaica Tourist Board, and he got interested in the Jamaican Jewish history, and he spent years, I don't mean 5 years, I mean 25 years, working on Jamaican Jewish history. And Eddie and I got very, very close, and the Jewish Pirates of the Caribbean became a very important document that tells not so much the history, but it speaks to the fact that we didn't take the overcoming of the European colonial system without some standing up for our own rights as individuals. So from that point of view, the book speaks to the capacity of the Caribbean Jews to stand up to and take part in fighting for our own independence and our own recognition. That we made some money out of it at the time, maybe. I can't speak to that. But we certainly were important in terms of Port Royal. And Port Royal was an interesting place because before the earthquake of 1692, it became the largest entrepot in the Caribbean, the Americas. And as a result of that, a lot of the trading that went on with the capture of loot, if you wish, from the Spanish armadas and the Spanish, not armadas so much, but the Spanish fleets, going back to Spain with the take on the gold and the silver. A lot of that trading took place through what we believe were the Jewish merchants that settled in Port Royal. So yes, we have all sorts of stories. There were some artisans as well, but I think a lot of the trade took place on what the pirates brought back. And in those days, they were not necessarily pirates. They were licensed buccaneers by the British to undertake the capture of Spanish treasure ships.
Yeah. Ainsley, isn't the cemetery at Port Royal that I believe some of it got destroyed during the earthquake? The Jewish cemetery in Port Royal. It's
not hearing you comment.
I'm just saying, hold on. Isn't the cemetery at Port Royal designated as a historical site for Jewish? Can you hear me? You're not hearing me.
No, I didn't quite hear you. But are you talking about the cemetery
at Port Royal? The one that was when the earthquake in. Sorry.
The Port Royal had no capacity to bury dead.
Right.
It's an interesting story because Port Royal, the water level in Port Royal was too close to the surface to be able to bury our dead, and as a result of that, our first our first, we acquired a piece of land on the other side of the harbor at a place called Hunts Bay. And we know for certain, we've seen the inscription, the oldest cemetery, the oldest inscription we have there is 1672. But it's interesting because even Rabbi Isaac Turo is buried in the Hunts Bay Cemetery as a rabbi here at that in a subsequent period. So yes, but we did not have a city called Kingston at the time when Port Royal and the Hunts Bay Cemetery were created. That comes later, after the earthquake. At the time, the capital of Jamaica, and it was until 1872, was Spanish Town, which was created by the Spanish. But Spanish never succeeded with a major economic activity in Jamaica because there was no gold or silver for them to mine. So it was primarily a ranching community of about 2,000 people, growing cattle and horses and pigs for the conquistadors, the expeditions of the conquistadors. So there you have another historical snippet in terms of, but we weren't involved in that because the Jews were not allowed in the Spanish New World.
Isn't the Hunts Bay Cemetery a historical site for Jews?
Yes. I mean, it's one of the historical sites, yes.
Right.
Again, I'm not hearing you very clearly.
Yeah, turn off the mic. Hey, you mentioned Turo, Rabbi Turo. Turo's a very prominent figure in early American Jewish history. In New Orleans, there's a Turo synagogue. I think there's one also in maybe
Newport, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island, that's it. That's the Turo synagogue there. And
Providence, Rhode Island, I know it well. The first synagogue in America. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, with George Washington posted
the letter to Newport.
Yeah.
I know it well. One of the things that I've been privileged and blessed to be able to do is to visit most of the important Jewish sites around the New World, and including Bevis Marks. And but I lived in England as well for 5 years. So if you go to Mikveh Israel in Philadelphia, you go to Sheretz Israel. I'm happy to say I'm welcome there.
Good.
But I've not spent much time in California, so I can't say that I've been to Bethel.
We don't have ancient synagogues here, but Bethel is one of the oldest. We are just short of 100 since our founding by some of the Hollywood pioneers.
Well, that's not a bad inheritance to have either.
Yeah, that's good.
So yes, that's good, and you have a lovely synagogue from the pictures I've seen of it.
Okay. Anyone else have questions?
No question? My goodness.
They're well behaved.
My goodness, if you don't have any questions, then there's no point in me writing the book, is there?
Yes, book. You're writing a book?
I'm trying to write something of a story of my life, of my different stories. Because, you know, earlier at the beginning, my friend tells me that my common statement is, and there's another story.
Tell me
So,
about.
yes, I have a number of stories.
See, a lot of us were amazed to find out there's a active, thriving Jewish community in Kingston, Jamaica. Can you tell me about how big it is?
Yes, today it's relatively small, much smaller than when I was younger. At one stage, it was probably somewhere in the region of about Beg pardon?
Right.
It was somewhere in the region of about 3 to 4, maybe 400 families or more.
Okay.
But of course, that was then. Today, we have a similar story of my life is that I have my 3 daughters live abroad, and my 7 grandchildren don't live in Jamaica any longer. So the migration is part of the damage that has been done to the congregation. There's also a certain amount of assimilation. People who have mixed marriages don't stay with Judaism. So that's another part of the story. I can't say it's a dying community, but it certainly needs infusion, and the economic opportunities have not been here to be able to attract people to continue to stay in Jamaica or to attract people to come and live in Jamaica, with the exception of maybe 3 or 4 Israeli families or Israelis who are married into the Jamaican community.
Can you hear me?
Simon, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Simon.
Shabbat Shalom. I would like to say that I know the history about this our shul, and our shul it's more than 100. In 1920s, they bought the place in Wilton, but before the place on Wilton, they had the place on Fountain Street near Normandy. And the community start in houses, and later they start to rent places. They bought the place in 1920 on Wilton 108. It's on Wilton and Sunset behind the gas station, Shell gas stations. And the sister, after they left Wilton, the community split to 2 half went to, they bought the places, they had a lot of money, they had very rich people also, and they moved few times, and I have papers from them.
We need to have do a story about our own history at some point. I'd be happy to see those.
But, so what I'm saying, in the late 40s, they got rich people on Wilton Street, and they decided to go to the west. But the older people didn't want, some older people, they didn't drive. They didn't drive on Shabbat. And they decide to stay where they can walk to the shul. And the first shul they rented, and they bought on Santa Monica Boulevard 5400 block. It's cut by the freeway. The building's still there, and later they bought a place on behind it, a church on Virginia Street. It still exists, and I was the president over there. 2-story building, and I know the history, and I have papers.
Okay.
The old books, a lot of old books from 200 years old, I got from there.
Okay. All right, that's very important. Simon, we'll have a chance to talk about that at some point. So you thought the old Wilton was what's now next to Home Depot on Sunset, not far from it.
Yeah, this is the 1920.
Right.
But
That's
the community, if someone will go to see the place, what they bought in 1920, it's like maybe 10,000 square foot, 1-story building, a huge place. Now it's a Spanish church, but you can see the Star of David.
It's still there on the building. Okay, let me get back to Ainsley though, and get back to the Caribbean and Jamaica. Does anyone else have questions for Ainsley?
We would like to have the telephone number if we can talk to him.
If you'd like to, yeah. Ainsley, you want to be made available?
I don't have a problem. I have WhatsApp. It's a free service, and it's 876-329.
No, just text it. And some people don't like to write on Shabbat. So
No, don't write on Shabbat. Just do me a favor. Tomorrow, you can ask Rabbi Norberg for my telephone number.
All right, I have your permission.
Thank
That's
you
fine.
very much. You already give Rabbi the permission. We just need the permission to get your telephone number.
Okay. Okay.
You have it.
I want to add.
It's interesting that you talked about different places where we worship, and it's the same story here, but slightly different, because what happened here is that, of course, the first synagogue in Jamaica was in Port Royal, and that was destroyed in the 1692 earthquake. And in fact, there was a written letter that identified the walls of the synagogue collapsing. So we know there was a synagogue, and we know that it did collapse. Then we had another set of synagogues in Spanish Town, 2 actually, which of course were eventually abandoned because Spanish Town Jews moved to Kingston. But we do actually have the sites, and it become interesting archaeologically, because that synagogue of 1704 was basically built on the pattern of Bevis Marks in England. And so the archaeological aspect of that is also fascinating as to how it was structured and how we know what the foundation, we have examined the foundations under the earth. And that's interesting. But then we also had an English and German congregation that developed in the late 1700s. And these were not Ashkenazim in the sense that they came from Eastern Europe. They came from Central Europe. And the only Ashkenazim that I really knew was my grandmother, who came from the old country. She was born in the shtetl in the Ukraine. And how she got to Jamaica is another story. I won't bore you with that at the moment, but she was a wonderful woman that lived here for over 70 years. It was not new. Eh? So then there were, in Kingston, when it was founded, there have been about 4 different synagogues. Most of them have been destroyed by fire, because in the old days they built with wood. And of course, the minute you have a wooden building that catches fire, it spreads like hell. And so the present synagogue you saw was on the site which was built in 1882, after the 1882 fire destroyed the other synagogues. And then that synagogue was destroyed by the earthquake of 1907. And so the present synagogue which you saw pictures of was a synagogue which was dedicated in 1912. And we have been worshiping in that synagogue ever since. So that's a history of the buildings, because one of the things which we have done is we have moved, we've grown, we've expanded, we've come together. And 100 years ago, the English and German congregations and the Sephardim came together to create what is known as the United Congregation of Israelites. Now, if you know that you can put 2 sets of Jews together and they don't fight, that's amazing. It's a miracle.
See, miracles happen. That is. Okay.
Question. Can I ask a question?
Go.
How old is the Jewish cemetery in Jamaica?
The oldest grave we have is 1672.
Can you tell us about
the family Gabe?
Can you tell us about the Holocaust time if Jews succeed to run to Jamaica?
Yes, I mentioned it briefly earlier about a woman named Miriam Sanza who wrote a story, and we had here about 4 years ago a conference on the Gibraltar camp. The British were building a camp to bring the Gibraltar citizens here because of the war in the Mediterranean. Not all came, and there was space. So they allowed about 300 Jews to come from Lisbon before they were sent back to Germany, to come on a British vessel to Jamaica. And subsequently, as they were able to be displaced, to be disposed of, sent to live elsewhere, they kept bringing more here. So we eventually ended up saving somewhere between 600 and 700 Jewish lives from going back to Germany. So that's part of our relationship with the Holocaust. We had about, I don't know, a dozen families that also came to manage to get out of Germany, mainly professionals before the war. And they, of course, subsequently, in many instances, retired to Florida.
All right. We're hitting on 1 o'clock California time, and it's, what is it, about 3 o'clock your time, Ainsley?
Yeah, it's close to, but I mean, that's not a problem for me. I can talk for the rest of the evening, so you don't have to worry.
Let me ask last question. What you expecting to have usually in Yom Kippur? How many people you got in the synagogue, Yom Kippur?
Oh, we'll probably get about 70% of the people who are still practicing Judaism. Not everybody counts.
How many people this is?
Well, this year we'll probably get about 50 or 60 people.
Okay, so you prepare like 100 seats and you have 60 or 70.
Yeah, but we have more seats today than we have people, much more.
I said prepare, so we should take out some seats. Okay,
no,
thank you. I don't want to.
No. We will have enough space for social distancing.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll see on the video that we played, I'll put a playback on later on. You can see, right? Some of it was filmed from the high holidays on the video. Looks like it, yeah.
Well, Rabbi Weinberg, if you decide to go to Jamaica as a visiting rabbi, I'll come along. I'll come along. Ask some of us if we care to visit. Because some of us, I intend to someday, if this pandemic ever ends, I would like to travel.
Rabbi, I will participate.
All right.
Yeah,
And I
I'll
will
come
donate.
along.
And I will.
So, Rabbi, all you have to do.
I will donate, and I will donate money to the Jamaican shul.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll give a contribution to the Jamaican shul. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Rabbi, all you do is work with me. We plan the trip, and I'll be happy to be your tour guide.
Okay.
Yeah. I'd love it. I really love it. First, we have to make sure Jamaica lets American tourists in without a quarantine. I don't want to go anywhere if I have to undergo a quarantine.
2 weeks. But if it's 2 weeks on the beach, that might not be bad.
2 weeks on the beach might not be bad. I just don't want any quarantine.
Okay. Well,
Do you have children that they need to learn to bar mitzvah?
Yes, we had about 2 bar mitzvahs over the last couple of months, yeah.
We teaching free, and we can send the material free.
If we have any coming up now, I'll check. I don't know. I'm a little too old to remember how many children getting to the age of 13.
Okay. All right.
I think we may have one next year, Ainsley.
Eh?
I think we may have one next year.
One next
I'm
year.
thinking.
Good.
I think we may have. I know of one child who should be turning 13.
All right.
Last question. Did you have a group of people, Yiddish speakers?
Do we ever had a group of Yiddish speakers to visit Jamaica?
No. In 1950, you had a group in Jamaica, Jewish community that spoke Yiddish?
No, the only person I knew that spoke Yiddish was my grandmother. And if you trouble me, I can tell you what I think about you in Yiddish.
You're mostly, the original Jews mostly Sephardic origin.
Yes, mostly Sephardic. And as I mentioned earlier, the English and German congregation are primarily of the Middle European countries, Germany, Austria.
So they weren't Yiddish speakers.
Not from Poland or the Far East or the Ashkenazi community.
So
But we now have I'll tell you one other thing. We now have an amazing expansion of the Chabad movement throughout the Caribbean. There are 14 Chabad congregations in the Caribbean today.
Wow.
And we have one in Jamaica. And because of, I suppose because of my mouth, I know all the rabbis. and they've done some very interesting things because they're providing a level of Jewish observance which the old indigenous congregations are not providing. So it's up to you to determine how you want to practice Judaism, but they do offer an Orthodox ritual.
Mostly of the Chabad, it's converted Jamaican, or is Jews that they succeed to bring
No,
in?
they're not. No converted Chabad, and we don't actually either do much conversion from any other religion to Judaism.
So who goes to the Chabad? I mean, I would.
Well, no. What happens in the Chabad movement, which is on the other side of the island, which is the main tourist area, they have hundreds of thousands of Jews that come as tourists. And they want kosher meals, they want to be able to daven in the morning, they want to do this, they want to do that. And the Chabad rabbi, who is a very good friend of mine actually, provides all these services. And it's a similar story throughout the Caribbean, in Cayman, etc. And they are bringing Judaism's attention to a wider range of people than we are doing, because we are not proselytizing ourselves or not proselytizing our interests, our religious beliefs. So they're doing a lot of that, and there's I give them credit for it. I mean, it's not something that everybody wants to see or have to participate in, but I recognize from my perspective the value of what they are offering, and I say amen.
We are the same here in California.
Rabbi, it's supposed to be a country named Suriname, if I pronounce it.
Suriname.
Suriname. supposed to be over there Egyptian Jewish community.
Suriname
Still exists?
Suriname is in northern
No. I didn't quite hear it because the rain is now falling, thank goodness, and we give blessings for that. But I heard the word Egyptian. We had probably 2 Egyptian families that lived here for a while at the time of the 1948. Or in fact, with the breakup of the Ottoman Empire, not the 1940, but the breakup of the Ottoman Empire.
So Simon was asking Ainsley, he said, is there an Egyptian community in Suriname?
Oh, the Jewish
community.
Suriname,
Egyptian Jewish community in Suriname.
The Jewish community in Suriname goes back many, many years because it's the Dutch community. And so the Dutch allowed Jews to practice in their countries. But I don't know who else settled in Suriname because today most of the Jewish population in Suriname is no longer there because a lot of them went to Holland and others were destroyed or died in the Holocaust. And of course Suriname has not got what is up to recently not had an aggressive or active economic activity program. So people migrated from Suriname. In fact, the head of the Suriname community, as far as I know, a friend of mine lives in Canada. So there we have another story. In other words, he doesn't even live in Suriname. And the Jordan Savannah, which was the Jewish settlement up the Suriname River, is no longer. It's now a World Heritage Site because of the work that one of our associates did there, Rachel Frankel, and Aviva Ben-Ur in settling. And the other thing I want to share with you, there are a couple of interesting books, my rabbi, that could be of interest to your congregation. One is the 18th century Jews of Jamaica, which is a study done on the 450 probated wills of the 18th century Jews of Jamaica. And it's been just published by Yale University, and the author is Professor Stan Mervis. Another interesting book is the Portuguese Jews of Jamaica, which was prepared and written by the late Ambassador Mordecai Arbel, who was, I argue, was a premier Jewish historian of the Caribbean, and he was my mentor. So that's why I chat so much about Jamaican Jewish history. He was an extraordinary man. And then there are a couple of other books which are coming out. Jane Gerber has a book coming out, and she is the author of the Jews of Spain, right? And this is Jews in the Caribbean by Jane Gerber, and you got it already. Wonderful, excellent. And then, and then 10 years ago, we had Jane and I put on the major Jewish conference for the Caribbean, which has also been published. The proceedings of that have also been published. So yes, there is now a collection of written material that can give us a better picture of what is happening. And then of course you have, this is which one is that? That's what's his name? It's Victoria, yes.
Right, Jewish Treasures of the Caribbean by White Gallery.
White
Beautiful.
Gallery. That tells again in photography an excellent collection of who we are in the Caribbean. So yes, we're becoming known not only to ourselves but to others.
Question: do you have floor in the synagogue?
Who?
The floor.
Oh yeah, he showed that earlier. The sand floor.
We showed the sand on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, you have sand. Okay.
Yeah, you missed the presentation.
Suriname also.
And the small synagogue from Suriname is actually now in the Jewish Museum in Jerusalem. They moved.
Yeah. Also, they had only they didn't have a floor. They had dirt.
Yeah. So we had 21 Jewish cemeteries, because if you lived around the island in small communities, you didn't have the time to bring the remains to the major cemeteries in Kingston. So people created small cemeteries around the island. And so at one stage we had about 21. I think we now have about 13 left, because some of them have just disappeared.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
So come, the answer to all the questions now, Rabbi, is to say, I'm waiting for you. Bring them.
That's it. We got to all come.
How many hours flight? How many hours is the flight?
Oh, from California? If you're traveling El Al, that's a different story. I don't know.
No, Elal, the cheapest,
My daughter's living.
Simon, he's not a travel. He doesn't run the airlines. It varies from day to day how much the airlines charge.
I asked time how much hours flight.
It's 1.5 hours from Miami.
Oh, wonderful. So it's very simple. Los Angeles, Miami, Jamaica. It's very simple.
Miami, Jamaica, an hour and 20 minutes.
Good. All right.
Simon, do you know where Jamaica
I
is?
tell you what, the first time I went to Miami, it was a 3-hour flight. It's much quicker now.
Okay. I'm going to do this. We're hitting past 1 o'clock.
9 hours.
What I'm going to do is we're doing pretty well. This is a beautiful, beautiful discussion. And the video also that you prepared, the interesting, you have a mixed community of people of different backgrounds, and you're all blending in very beautifully all together, which is so important. Very unusual for Jews to do that. So that's a big miracle. And I want to thank you so very much. And Marie, thank you for joining in. Terry also helped, Terry Hall also helped us in getting this set up.
She's right here, and she wants to say hello. I want her to say hello to you.
Yes, Terry, hello. Thank you very much for all the help you gave.
Thank you, Terry.
And Carmen also for the initiative in connecting our communities. Carmen,
Thank you, Carmen.
You were a youngster there. I don't know how old you were when you went up to Canada, but yeah, you have good memories there also. So for everybody, I wish you a good Shabbat. 9 hours flight, including, what do we got? A 9-hour flight, including connections. Okay, good. All right. So let's go ahead and close, unless somebody wants to go on afterwards with discussion. Yoni, you want to carry on with discussion? If anybody wants to continue.
I want to thank everyone. Anyway, I have to head off, Rabbi. I've got to go see Barbara. So
say
thanks
hello, Barbara
everyone.
Thomas.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you, Carmen.
You're welcome.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Carmen. Thank you for
Shabbat shalom. Thank you, everybody.
Okay. Yoni, you want to just carry it from here?
I could carry it for another half hour or so.
Shalom.
Okay, if anybody wants to, they can continue here. And I'm going to go ahead. I will stop the recording at this point because that way we allow people to talk and I have to worry about what anybody's recording and so on. It's much more freehold. From here, Ainsley, I want to thank you so very much. You've been a wonderful, wonderful host presenter for us. We really enjoyed it and enjoy interacting with you. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you. And to Terry, everybody else in Jamaica, thank you very much. Shabbat shalom. Have a wonderful Shabbat and Shana Tova. Good year.